Good morning. Petra has roped me into doing a quick lesson on sprouts for you today. And I can see two major reasons why you need to grow sprouts. One is, as you know, Petra and we've observed sort of some dividing lines between people and some of their healthy practices. And there are two dividing lines we've recognized. One is, do you cook for yourself? If you don't cook for yourself and you go out to eat all the time, you're going to get what people are addicted to, and that is salt, sugar, and fat. This is what the restaurants give you because they want you to come back. So if you cook for yourself, that's a real dividing line. The other one is if you grow some of your own food. If you grow a garden. If you grow a garden, you're going to eat more of those greens and fruit and healthy foods. It'll be fresher, it'll be healthier for you. Unfortunately, with that dividing line, it's not possible for everyone to grow a garden. You may not have a place, you may not have the time, you may not have the energy. It's not an easy process. So that's one of the major reasons for growing sprouts. You can do it right there in your kitchen all year long, and it's very easy to do. The other reason to grow sprouts is that they're so rich in medicinal properties. Okay, they're very high in enzymes. If you go to Petra's website and you look at her links to many of the organizations that are trying to heal people of cancer and heart disease, different chronic diseases, through the use of food and nutrition, most of the time what they're really using is raw food, and wheatgrass and sprouts are just fundamental to what they're doing to try to heal people. So they have extra nutrition. You may have even heard about broccoli sprouts and how they're a cancer inhibitor. It turns out that all of the cruciferous vegetables, that family of broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, all of those plants have an enzyme in them that produces a compound in your body called sulforaphane. And sulforaphane has been proven to be a cancer inhibitor, all right? They don't go as far as saying it prevents cancer, but they know for a fact that if you have cancer, it slows down the growth of the cancer cells and will help you recover from cancer. So broccoli sprouts are really key. I can remember going to the Living Light Symposiums, and they used to talk about how sprouts have 25 times the enzymes as mature plants. And in my research on broccoli sprouts, it turns out that broccoli sprouts have 25 times as much of that enzyme that helps you produce sulforaphane. So they're very medicinal, all right? And this is true for all different types of sprouts. And there's an abundance of different types of sprouts that you can grow. I had a few stocked up here. You know, this was really a nice mixture that Petra bought the other day, and it looks like it's a combination of radish, clover, and alfalfa sprouts. This is fenugreek. Fenugreek is our favorite to sprout because it's the easiest to sprout, and it has kind of a nice bitter flavor that we really like in salads or on a sandwich. What else did I have? Red clover is a good one and an easy one to sprout. The other one is radish sprouts. They taste just like a radish, only probably more stronger in nutrition than a normal radish. And of course you have mung beans and all types of beans. We usually sprout them before we cook them. I made soy milk last week, and I sprouted the soybeans before I made soy milk and soy yogurt out of it. And of course we can learn from those distillers, you know, the whiskey makers, before they ferment that rye or corn, they sprout it because it has more sugar, a higher level of sugar. These are good carbohydrates that you get out of sprouts. I might also mention that there's just something magical about seeds. I've grown a garden for most of my life, and every seed you look at is it really has the secret of life in it. There's where it all starts. It's all built into that seed, and I really believe that if you want to be healthy and live a healthy life, you should eat living food, and in particular, something that's so rich in the secret of life. So philosophically, there's a reason to grow sprouts. So let me give you just a quick little demo. I'll use this mix that Petra bought, and in terms of how much, of course, you need a quart jar. That's about the right size. If you go bigger, it's hard to keep them. This goes in the refrigerator easily, and you very often get enough sprouts to eat all week long on them. And so I'll pour those into the bottom. And of course, I measured this. I always just estimate it. I kind of look at it, and I want the bottom to be covered, and about, these are pretty small seeds, so about a quarter inch thick on the bottom. If you want to measure it, it's going to be about 3 tablespoons in the bottom, but it doesn't have to be exact. If you get too much, you might have problems with them not having enough air in there and spoiling on you. If you have too little, you won't eat all week on them. So you want about a quarter inch in the bottom. The fenugreek is a little bigger seed, so I'm going to go a little bit more than a quarter inch there. Okay, so you just dump your seeds into the bottom. Oh, that looks just right. And then all I'm going to do, it's a very easy process here. I'm going to add water to this. Fenugreek seeds are very good too. Supposedly, they help regulate your blood sugar levels. So if you have any problems that way, I recommend the fenugreek seeds. And of course, these mixtures, they're really nice because they're full of flavors. And so I put in about a little half or a little bit more than half. And I'll let them soak. If I do it in the evening, overnight, or in the morning until late in the evening, you want to soak them about 10 or 12 hours. And then you'll put a lid on them. Fortunately, many years ago, we stocked up on these really nice lids that have different size screens. You know, they're color coordinated. The red ones are for beans. Use that with the soybeans. This green one is about a medium size, and I'll use that with the fenugreek. They're a little bit bigger. But this one here that has those alfalfa seeds in it, it's a very fine screen. So I just put that on there. If you can't find those, they're not made anymore. You can look online for anything like that. Petra said Harvest Market had a green one like this that's fine, very fine screen. They will work for you. They're not as nice. The nice thing about these bigger screens is it's much easier to rinse your sprouts because the water goes in much easier. This one here, you probably have to take the lid off to add the water and then let it drain. If you're really ambitious, you can just use a regular jar lid and go to the hardware store and buy a little screen of stainless steel screen and cut it out and fit it in there, and then you can use that for it. And so this will set for about 10 hours. I drain it off, I rinse it right away, and then after that, you need to rinse them about 2 times a day. If they get too warm, then they'll get a little mold in there and they'll spoil. And so you don't want to put them in the sun, you want to keep them in a cool place. I did a couple of these last week, and you can see this is sort of that alfalfa clover mixture is coming along pretty good. The fenugreek we're already eating it, okay? We had some for breakfast, and we'll put it on sandwiches and let it keep growing for a couple of days. Probably in about 2 more days, it'll start forming a little leaf, and I may set it in the bright sun for an hour or so just to green up those leaves. And then put it in the refrigerator, and you eat sprouts all week long. When you're about halfway down, you have to start a new jar if you're going to always have sprouts. That's it on sprouting, okay? The one thing I didn't mention, I don't think, was on broccoli sprouts. If you try to do them this way, I've never been very successful at not having them mold on me. So to do broccoli sprouts, you're better off doing them as microgreens, where you grow them in a little bit of dirt and then you just cut off the little plant. Although if you were ambitious and really rinsed them a lot and hit them in a cool place, you could probably do them by this way too. Anyway, microgreens, we'll save that for another lesson. Thank you very much for listening. Good health and good sprouting.